Darkness over Daggerford has an interesting back history, as it was one point a cancelled premium mod and brought together by Ashwin Studios and placed in the Neverwinter Night Vault. You can still play the cancelled module for free, but the premium is the one we're looking at today. In it, they added a ton of voice acting, music, and more to this expansion-sized module. Located in the region close to Waterdeep, Daggerford is in peril. There is an undercurrent of strange events happening that begin to unravel, where our hero must uncover this before it is too late. The situation is punctuated with the created character's caravan being attacked and their companion magically transported to another location during the attack in the opening sequences, leaving the PC with little option but to travel onward to Daggerford and embark on an adventure of following a trail of breadcrumbs to free a friend and save a town. Once in Daggerford, we are informed of a strange occurrence involving the local nobility. Duke Greatshout has recently been killed by a beast while on a hunt, and a wealthy council member has proclaimed himself the Baron of Daggerford. Not all is as it seems as we begin to unravel the threads surrounding his murder while investigating the countryside that is being waylaid by caravan raiders and livestock vanishing in broad daylight from the farmers. Heralded as an expansion-sized DLC with a ton of work going into it with voice acting, music, and scripted cutscenes. And so here's my review of the premium module Darkness over Daggerford. But remember, if you like this style of content, to give a thumbs up and subscribe. Let's go ahead and dive in. Darkness over Daggerford has some interesting concepts right off the bat for Neverwinter Nights. In it, they've implemented several key features, a map to travel to different locations and random encounters. The two mechanics intertwine similarly from OG Baldur's Gate. This is actually quite a nice touch, as when we're traveling vast distances, the PC will make camp and rest along the way. While I did find the resting was easy to get back spells and health during the travels, there was also a small chance of some counters. The best being the troll encounter I stumbled upon, where I didn't have any available fire and was beaten to a pulp. There are 15 areas to explore, and finding them comes down to navigating through the maps and having them open up either from doing quests or exploring different exits from the map itself. Which brings us to another aspect of this module. There are a ton of side quests. So many in fact that I can see why one would call this expansion sized. So for example, for me, there was about 20 hours of side quests, and the main quest probably took around 10. Also, because of the way I plowed through the side quests, once I ventured back onto the beaten path of the main quest, it almost became too easy. If you guys have watched some of my other reviews, then you know that I also like to hoard scrolls and potions and unleash their full majestic might in those major fights, so that also helps out as well. But that isn't exactly how it begins. You start the adventure out at level 8. If you don't introduce an OP character from a previous campaign like I originally did, taking the character from Kingsmaker just had me like absolutely steamrolling everything. Then the PC begins with some low-level enchanted goods, making the progression feel right and the encounters challenging in the beginning. Also, I leaned heavy on the side quests in the beginning, as I felt that was the natural way to go about the story arc. This in itself might be one of the flaws in the design, as the story beats don't progress well and you have to backtrack once you start wrapping up all those side quests. I'd be interested in playing through this campaign again also without taking the side quests, and I imagine the main quest would be a lot more difficult. There's a certain level of replayability in this premium module as well, as I could see that the path being extremely different in narrative choice if I had rolled an evil character. Also, dialogue choices seem plenty, and having characters with high charisma or the ability to intimidate will come in handy with these encounters, as well as the characters with certain abilities higher than normal could play a role. For example, someone with a high strength or dexterity might be able to pull off some interactions that others could not inside the maps themselves. As for the locales and settings, some are really interesting, especially when exploring ruins or hidden paths set inside the map itself. I won't say that all the tile sets are exactly striking, as I found some of the middle maps, especially the farmland areas, to be a little lackluster. But then again, that is the farmlands, and that's what someone would expect going into farmlands. I did find that the use of elevation of the map with trails leading down to be interesting in open areas with winding staircases or rocky dirt paths. However, as the game progresses, there are several places where the AI will hem up on you and force you to have to reload. This happened more than once in my playthrough, where going into a small room, found myself trapped, or walking a narrow path and then having to turn around would just cause all kinds of weird interactions. I also stumbled across a bug I've seen in a couple modules so far with the off-center text screens. especially on cutscene text. Although if you just reload, usually this will correct the problem, and the only time it really bothered me was after a huge fight and the entire text was slightly off screen, cutting off the sentences. The only way I could try to fix this was actually to go through the whole fight again. Darkness over Daggerford also established itself apart from other modules with an interesting but not fully explored notion of the PC's own castle, where in the middle of the campaign one is able to have their own place to call home, complete with its own history and an interesting encounter inside the keep itself. There is also a small section of time devoted to decorating, which I thought was really a nice touch. One of the most impressive things about the module is the sense of its own place and time. This is likely why I found myself digging so deep into those side quests. I never knew what was happening or where it might lead. One minute I might be helping a person find a lost treasure, and another on a mission to find a missing son. Each one not only helped to flesh out the areas in Daggerford, but also allow myself to enjoy the world created. All of this emphasized with Daggerford's own unique music tracks like this one here. Darkness over Daggerford is worthy of being a premium module presented by Beamdog in the Enhanced Edition. It showcases what good DLC can look like, with character interactions that feel involving and a sense of what the player is doing is making an impact on the world around them. With some of the more questionable DLC presented in the OG Neverwinter Nights, this add-on is worth the price of admission. Well, that's going to be it for this review of Darkness over Daggerford. Remember to like and subscribe for future content like this, and have a great day gaming. Later.